I had some time off from work recently because after I was diagnosed with breast cancer, it was a bit of a roller coaster, wasn't it? It's quite quick. And then I had surgery quite quickly, a lumpectomy, and now I'm just having some treatments while I go back to work as a kind of prevention. But it was crazy. So I was doing the Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe in town at the Gillian Lynn Theatre, and the producers there were fantastic, and they gave me some time off. We went to our house in Valencia, didn't we? Sat by a mountain, and tried to chill out.
Yeah, tried.
Tried to chill out. So yeah, we're feeling a lot better than we were. So my treatment's ongoing for breast cancer. The surgery was quite difficult to recover from, just because it's quite tender when you have lymph nodes removed. It's kind of mobility issues at the beginning, and then the first round of chemotherapy was pretty hardcore, really. It's quite toxic, and we were lucky because I got to recover in Spain. Ollie and Wally, he's the little doggy. Ollie and Wally were picking me up from the airport in Valencia.
Wally was driving.
It was in the middle of a thunderstorm, so I just had the chemotherapy treatment, and then these guys picked me up. And that was pretty cool. Diagnosis of breast cancer for me was quite quick, really. The turnaround was very quick. I'd actually had an ultrasound just as a precaution. I hadn't found any lump, or there was no evidence of anything, so I was very lucky that I just went for a routine ultrasound, and something came up, and then luckily I got everything done very quickly. I had the lumpectomy within how long was the diagnosis?
Weeks, I think.
Yeah.
2-3 weeks. So it's very, very quick.
Yeah. And that was great because obviously the longer the tumour stays in your body, the longer the risk, or the higher the risk that the cells will travel. And so yeah, and the operation was quick, but it is incredible how I was lucky enough to find it when I did. It's made me feel very passionate about just reminding women of all ages, because actually a lot of the women that are reaching out to me are in their 20s and 30s, and so it's imperative, if you can get a scan, an ultrasound, you can even have it done privately if you don't want to wait. I think if you can afford that, it's a really, really good investment. I actually found out when I was by myself. I went for the scan. Ollie was at home, and I hadn't really told him about the scan because I didn't think there was the ultrasound. I hadn't really told him anything about the ultrasound because I didn't think there was going to be anything to talk about. And then I think, did I wait a day? I can't remember if I told you immediately, or did I come out of the ultrasound when they found something, and then I told Ollie on my way to work. That was a surreal moment because I had to kind of know that there was something that looked like breast cancer. It's interesting how people's reactions kind of get it away quite quickly, and then I had to go on stage. And in fact, I did the ultrasound between shows. I did a matinee, and then I had the ultrasound and kind of semi-diagnosis, and then back to the second evening show, which was crazy. That whole show I don't really remember very much.
And you've got radiotherapy?
Oh yes, I've got radiotherapy as well for a period of time to just try and nuke any leftover cells that are there. The cancer diagnosis definitely changes everything. It's a strange journey of feeling lots of different things all at the same time. So you feel incredibly frightened at the beginning because you just suddenly value your life so much. Everything and everyone just seems like incredibly beautiful, and the world seems really beautiful all of a sudden. which is kind of quite depressing that you can only notice things sometimes when there's the threat of them being taken away. Then sometimes there's anger. I got angry because I get frustrated at not being in control of something, because that's something that I do to feel safe, and so you can't be in control of an illness. So I had to learn to be a bit passive, accepting. So that's patient. Not my best quality patience. I'm getting much better at it, because you have to. I've had incredible support from family and friends. It's been overwhelming. I've also had loads of support from women with breast cancer who've been reaching out on social media, which I was kind of a bit freaked out at the beginning whether I should share it or not. I've always had a slightly precarious relationship with social media. I haven't really used it very much before, and then I found that I felt really comforted by hundreds of people that were sweet enough to share their stories, and which I felt quite privileged really, and a lot of the things they were saying were just incredibly moving and helpful to me. Ollie's probably been the most up close and personal person that's had to help me through the kind of tricky bits.
It's really, really hard watching someone you love go through something like this. I think the way we work is just try and get everything out in the open, how we're feeling on a day-to-day, hour-by-hour kind of basis, and then go from there, really. I think in terms of support, made quite a few soups.
You did. Oh.
I've done a bit of driving.
You used to do the turmeric and ginger shots.
Turmeric and ginger shots, I forgot about those.
Ollie's an amazing cook and has been feeding me healthy food, sometimes unhealthy food, but that's been needed as well.
Yeah, I think just for both of us, it's kind of trying to retain kind of normality and have things to look forward to as well.
Yeah, that's true.
Never lose sight of what we have, where we're going to end up, and just kind of pull each other through the kind of dark moments.
It's a difficult thing telling everyone about a diagnosis of cancer, but it's more complicated with your children, just because I like to be open and honest with them. That's the relationship that we have, so I don't want to patronise them or keep things from them, but at the same time, the idea for them that they could potentially lose one of their parents, that's terrifying. So you try to protect them from your feelings and your fears, so I just made sure that I was as positive as possible, and then I was hoping that would translate to their feelings, and I think so far they've been very good. It's a huge bombshell for anyone, but then very quickly you adjust to the news, and then it just becomes part of kind of normal conversation. So yeah, they've been very good, but they've been very supportive, very sweet. I think we all have an idea that breast cancer checkups should only happen kind of over 40, and so many of the women that have been contacting me have been 20s, 30s, but kind of all ages, just regular checkups. And certainly mammograms can feel overwhelming, but if you can, ultrasounds are a good way of detecting lumps or shadows early. It's our first interview as a couple.
You've been very interesting.
Have I?
Yeah, you have.
Thanks.
I've been listening intently.
Just for a change.
Yeah, for a change.
I haven't really talked publicly about our relationship before, but I think because of the cancer, we've kind of, for us it was important that we kind of shared the story with everyone, because it's important not to feel shame about a diagnosis. It's important not to keep it private, so that everyone understands that it can happen to anyone. So I think we were more accepting of kind of talking about our situation.
Yeah, I think potentially we've just for the last few years just kind of got on with things, haven't we?